Blessed and abundance morning, everyone. I am Ginalyn.
And I am Carlene. We are your learning provider for today's topic, Chapter 8, Organizational Leadership. This is our learning outcomes for this day. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to explain what organizational leadership is, distinguish between leadership and management, describe different organizational styles, explain what situational leadership, servant leadership are, and discuss how to sustain change in an organization. Let me read the introduction. Expected of professional teachers who care for and embark on continuing professional development is a promotion along the way. With this in mind, this course won't be complete without a discussion of an effective leader and a manager for which you will be in the future. But should you refuse offer for a managerial or leadership position in school or in the bigger educational organization because of the love for teaching and learners? This lesson on organizational leadership won't be laid to waste because even as teacher, you are already a leader and a manager. You are a teacher and a class or classroom manager. Now, before we go deeper on our lesson for today, let us have first an activity. Let's draw. Present or draw an object that symbolizes a leader of an organization. Explain your symbol of leadership. Presented here are the two pictures of an organizational leader. Now, from these two pictures, let's analyze. Based on the symbols or pictures presented, here are the three guiding questions we should be answered. First, who is an organizational leader? Second, what do organizational leaders do? Third, what qualities do they possess? Let us now answer the first question. Who is an organizational leader? As we can see in the first picture, the guy in the white suit sitting in the middle was the organizational leader. Now, look at the second picture. Obviously, we can instantly identify who was the leader. This was the guy in the brown suit raising a red flag that appeared like he was leading his colleagues. Question number 2. What do organizational leaders do? Based on these images, organizational leaders lead and implement assistance and guidance to the group as a whole. Leaders must ensure that everything is in order and that it is handled objectively for the group success. Finally, on the last question, what qualities do they possess? From the picture presented, these leaders possesses the following. Integrity, they shows accountability, they shows also empathy, humility, resilience, they have vision, influence, and positivity. Organizational leadership. Leaders help set strategic goals for the organization while motivating individuals within the organization to successfully carry out assignments in order to realize those goals. This pertains that leaders should implement a strategic goals. So what is a strategic goals? When we say strategic goals, this pertains to a planned objectives of an organization tries to achieve, which is why every school has a mission and vision which does serve as a strategic goals that everyone aims to accomplish for the benefit of the school, community, and most notably, the lives of every student. In a school setting, the school leader helps set the goals or targets for the school and motivates teacher, parents, learner, non-teaching personnel, and other members of the community to do their task to realize the school goals. It works towards what is best for individual members and what is best for the organization as a group at the same time. In organizational leadership, both the individual and group are necessary. because it does not sacrifice the welfare of the group for the sake of individual members. It is also an attitude and work ethic that empowers an individual in any role to lead from top, middle, or bottom of an organization. To top it all, organizational leadership helps communicates the mission and vision. It establishes the strategic plan and inspires individuals to put forth their talents to fulfill the goals aligned with strategic plan and ultimately the leader's vision. Leadership versus management. Are leadership and management synonymous? Is a leader a manager or is a manager a leader? If I am a good leader, does it follow that I am also a good manager? Or if I am a good manager, am I at the same time a good leader? With that, let us now compare and contrast what is the work of a manager and what is a work of a leader. Managers, they used to administer. Their process is transactional. They meet objectives and delegate tasks. While the leaders are innovate. Their process is transformational. Develop a vision and find a way forward. Managers focus on work. The goal is to get things done. They are skilled at allocating work. While the leaders are focused on people, the goals include both people and results. They care about you and want you succeed. On this, the manager has responsibilities and is able to delegate and implement plans, while the leader is an example for others and is someone who doesn't necessarily have a large responsibility. Managers have subordinates. They create circles of power and lead by authority. Leaders have followers. They create circles of influence and lead by inspiring. So, managers have subordinates who follow their rules, and leaders have individuals who believe in what they say, otherwise known as followers. Managers do things right. Managers enact the existing culture and maintain status quo. On the other hand, leaders do the right thing. Leaders shape the culture and drive integrity. So in this, leaders focus on human emotion and charisma to lead. Managers focus on concise, scientifically proven methods to lead. Now that we know the difference between a leader and a manager, what should you think is the best to follow? The function of a leader or the function of a manager? Well, on a school setting, a school head must be both a leader and a manager. A school head leads the school and community to formulate the vision, mission, goals, and school improvement plan. This is a leadership function. She or he sees to it that this plan gets well implemented on time and so ensures that the resources needed are there. The persons to do the job are qualified and available. This is a management function. Just imagine if the school head is only a leader. You have the vision, mission, goals, and school plan but no implementation. The plan is good only in paper. While on the other hand, if you do the task of a manager only, you will be focusing on the details of the day-of-day implementation without the big picture, the vision and mission. So, it big picture for connect and meaning. This means that it is best that a school head or a school leader is both a leader and a manager. Type of skills demanded by leaders. First, we have the technical skills. This refers to any type of process or techniques like sending email and preparing PowerPoint presentation. It is essential that the leader possesses these skills because we live in a technologically based world where everything is held through the help of technology, especially now that we are in the grip of a pandemic and almost all of our transactions and daily lives are held online. These skills is very important for teachers as well as the school leaders, for it plays a vital role because with its help, they be able to create a classroom management software and system, databases, electronic presentations, spreadsheet creation and management. They be able to hold a meetings through virtual, electronic performance evaluations, Microsoft Office software, and web navigation. Human skills. It is the ability to work effectively with people and to build teamwork. This also referred to as people skill or soft skill. A leader must have this particular skill to get along with his co-workers or colleagues in order to have a better and smooth healthy relationship with them. On a school setting, this is probably one of the most in-demand skills because in this profession, we have to deal with different types of people, and different people means different attitudes and different characteristics. That as a teacher, we need to get along with that. Our last skill is the conceptual skill. It is the ability to think in terms of models, frameworks, and broad relationships such as long-range plans. These skills, as a teacher or future educator, it is important that we have the ability to view the organization as a whole, understand how the various parts are interdependent, and assess how the organization relates to its external environment. In short, conceptual skills deals with ideas, while human skill concerns relationship with people, and technical skills involves psychomotor skills and things. The ideal school leader possesses all three. These are the leadership styles. First, we have the autocratic leadership. Leaders do the decision-making by themselves. For example, Adolf Hitler, Napoleon Bonaparte, Queen Elizabeth I, and today's controversial leader Vladimir Putin all had autocratic leadership, in which all power was held solely in their hands. Autocratic governments were also known as dictatorships. Now, let us look this on a school setting. For instance, if a principal within a school makes a decision for the school without consulting with the teachers or soliciting teachers' input, the decision that she or he made was autocratic. Next is the consultative leadership, wherein leaders allow participation of the members of organizations by consulting them but make the decisions themselves. So, in this type of leadership, leaders presume that their group possesses the skills and knowledge required to excel at their tasks. Although the leader has the final authority decision, they prefer to hear each group member's point of view before acting. On a school setting, this is what happens in a consultation meetings called by schools when they increase tuition fees. Sometimes, education stakeholders get disappointed that their suggestions are not carried after school leaders have consulted them. They do not understand that consultation does not necessarily mean approval of stakeholders' suggestions. Democratic leadership. It allows the member of the organization to fully participate in decision-making. Decisions were arrived by consensus. This genuine participation of the members of organization, which is keeping with school empowerment. In this type of leadership, it allows everyone to participate, that ideas are freely exchanged and discussion is encouraged, while this process emphasizes group equality and the freedom of flow of ideas. The democratic leader remains present to provide guidance and control. This was also coined as participative leadership. Like for example, we have Nelson Mandela, who has known as a president of Africa that fights about equality. He was suited as an example for having a democratic leadership. Now, let us look this on a school setting. For example, the teacher can involve students in devising classroom rules, perhaps in the form of writing and signing a classroom constitution, and can provide students some choice in assignments related to particular purposes of subject matter. In a problem or issues focus unit, the teacher can allow for student discretion in the matter of selecting problems to study. If relations among students or between teachers and students are not going well, the teacher can solicit student suggestions about the source and possible solution to the problem. The democratic classroom provides structured conditions for students to help habits of reflective thinking that enable them to make informed decisions about pending personal and social actions. In a democratic classroom, all students are entitled to equal and fair treatment and to equal opportunity to contribute to group decisions and class discussions. Our last leadership style is the laissez-faire or the free-rein leadership style. Leaders avoid responsibility and left the members of the organization to establish their own work. This leadership style leads to kanya-kanya mentality, in which this is one of the weaknesses of the Filipino character. There will be no problem if the situation is deal. Example, each member of the organization has reached a level of maturity. And so, if members are left to themselves, they will do only what is good for the organization. On the other hand, it will be chaos if each member will do as he or she please, even if it is against the common good. This is a leadership style in which leaders are remain hands-off and entrust decision-making to group members. That according to studies, this is the leadership style that results in the lowest productivity among group members.
The situational leadership model. Situational leadership is leading the organization in a way that fits the situation or the readiness of the followers. So, here is the leaders do their steps or leadership depending on the situation and how ready the followers are. They mind especially the situation before they lead in an organization. An effective leader adapts their leadership style to the situation of the members of the organization. As an effective leader, you must know first adapting or coping up with the situation that the organization have. You should put yourself in the situation and you must weighted the situation. So, Paul Hersey and Kenneth H. Blancard, 1996, characterized leadership style in terms of the amount of task, behavior, and relationship behavior that the leader provides to their followers. They categorize it into four, which are selling or directing, telling or coaching, participating and or supporting, and delegating. In style 1 is selling or directing, wherein individuals lack the specific skills required for the job in hand and they are willing to work at the task. They are novice and enthusiastic. So they are the people who are lacking skills and guidance but they are willing to do the task. Most of them are first-timer but are hardworking. They need company who will assist them to do the task. Style number 2. It is about telling or coaching. Individuals are more able to do the task. However, they are demotivated for this job or task, unwilling to do the task. These are people who have time to do the task but they do not want to do it. They have many reasons but the truth is, they really do not want to do the task. For example, I am free and I have time to help or do the task, but I reject them because I do not want to do. I am not eager or willing to do the task. Style number 3. It is participating or supporting. Individuals are experienced and able to do the task but lack the confidence or the willingness to take on responsibility. People who were lack of self-confidence and self-esteem. They are the people who have experienced or done a task but do not want to try again because they are ashamed that the outcome might be not pleasant. And the last style is about delegating. Individuals are experienced at the task and comfortable with their own ability to do it well. They are able and willing to not only the task but to take responsibility for the task. It is the people who is efficient and effective at their jobs. They were willing to take responsibilities without hesitations. They believe on their self that they can do the task. Servant leadership. In this leadership, it is important that the leader sees himself or herself as a servant first before he or she become a leader. Leader must know where he or she started. He or she must keep in mind that he was a servant first before he or she become a leader. And as a leader, you must be a servant first. You need to set yourself as a servant before you do actions, for you to know what may their feedbacks towards the leadership or platforms you may implement. For Robert K. Greenleaf, 1987, servant is, it begins with a natural feeling that one wants to serve. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. He wanted to point out that being a servant is a personal choice. It's a desire to serve people. It is a feel that people or organization need you, so that wanting to serve lead you to become a leader. By means of leading, the first desire of the servant leader is to serve. Servant leader leads to have brought on people to build community, stewardship of the material resources and the people they lead. The term public servant refers to appointed and elected officials of the government to emphasize the fact that they indeed are servants of the people. They work for government and citizens. It includes any local or state government employee of a government organization, like firefighters, police officers, public health officials, teachers, and all fall in public sector. Public servant develop and deliver public programs or services and inform policy making. It seeks to involve others in decision making, is strongly based in ethical and caring behavior, and enhances the growth of workers while improving the caring and quality of organizational life. One of the examples of this leadership is the situation in Ukraine. Before they fought against Russia, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky considered all his troops, especially his countrymen. During the war, he did not leave his home country and his people to escape from the war. Even though he was a president, he took off his president's attire and put on a military uniform to join Ukrainian troops in fighting to protect people as well as to serve. He did his best to protect people to avoid being trapped in the war. He did all that was possible to stop the war or to receive help from other countries in the midst of the war. It is a great tribute that he did not flee, but instead fought, because he was there as president to serve the people, not the people to serve him. The school head who acts as a servant leader forever remembers that he or she is there to serve his or her teachers, the students, the parents, etc., and not the teachers, learners, parents to serve him or her. So, school head is the one who will serve both teachers and student, not teacher and student to the school head. All in all, in servant leadership, once you are a leader, you must instill in mind that you should always be a servant first. Transformational leadership. It is concerned with introducing and sustaining innovations. In this leadership, the leader wants to transform the system into something new. They gain ideas or knowledge on what is the most easiest thing to do to have a changes or transformation in the system or organization. A transformational leader is not content with the status quo and sees the need to transform the way the organization thinks, relates, and does things. Leaders change how the people in the organization thinks and works. In this, leaders are inspirational. Leaders motivate, encourage, and inspire the workers to find better ways of achieving their set goal or mobilization. Because leadership can mobilize people into groups that can get work done. In that, transformational leaders raise the well-being and motivation of a group. The transformational school leader sees school culture as it could be and should be, not as it is, and so play his or her role as visionary, engager, learner, collaborator, and instructional leader. Transformational teachers share best practices, build mentoring relationships, keep things fresh, model their subjects' usefulness, observe their peers, and demonstrate caring beyond what they teach. To do the transformational leader, they combine charisma, inspirational leadership, and intellectual stimulations to direct the attention and energy of the member toward the good of the group or organization as a whole. Sustaining change. For reforms to transform, the innovation introduced by the transformational leader must be institutional and sustained, or else that innovation is simply a passing fad that loses its flavor after a time. A proof that an innovation introduced has transformed the organization is that the result of effect of the change persists or ripples even when the transformative leader is gone or is transferred to another school or gets promoted in the organization. It constitutes the proactive steps to enable transition from the current state to the future state with the goal of improvement that is sustained over time. In this, organization leaders leads the employees in the right direction and motivates them to continue to improve and motivate. For example, in the community, leaders, or let us call a kagawad, suggest all things which is better to all people and of course to community. Kagawad leads people to the right path which makes them to be more productive and creative, so that their performances will surely increase and be able to sustain the community in all aspects or in a current complex environment. Also, because of the sustained changes, leaders become flexible as well as the people or member in the community. To ensure the innovation, Morato of Bayan ABS-CBN 2011 introduced leads to the transformation of the organization. He gives the following advices. Number 1. Seek the support of the stakeholders. The leaders must build a strong coalition of allies in order to push for any meaningful change that would yield results. There must be a unity to have changes that leads to positive outcome. Innovations cannot be forced upon the teachers, the students, the parents, the community without serious consequences. Number 2. Get people involved early and often. Resistance drops off in proportion to the involvement of participants. It is better if all participants are all aware on the changes that will do, to inform them early. We may use platforms for them to reach out. Number 3. Plan a communications campaign to sell the innovation. According to Morato 2011, that asserts that change in vision must cascade downwards to the last lesson plan and ripple sidewards to win the support of major stakeholders. Also, we can use platforms or our social media accounts for the campaigns. Number 4. Ensure that the innovation is understood by all. Make sure that the innovation is well explained in order to understand easily. The benefits and costs must be appreciated and weighed carefully. Consider timing and pacing. These are highly critical. Missteps might backfire and lack of sensitivity to stakeholders might lead to resistance.
Application. Let's apply. Number 1. Based on this lesson and by means of an acrostic, give qualities or specific behaviors of good leaders. See example. Number 2. You are assigned as a school head in a low-performing school. Students are poorly motivated, parents and community are not very cooperative, and teachers have low morale. As a leader, what should you do? Outline your steps. Number 3. You are introducing an innovation in school. Sociologically, Filipinos are known for the ningas kugon mentality. How this mentality affects school innovations? As a leader, how will you counteract it? Number 4. 2 of your teachers are doing well. 4 strongly resist continuing professional development. 2 are about to retire and are simply waiting to retire. To make your school perform, as a school head, what moves will you take? Explain. Here are the various methods that leaders employ. From this, identify the leadership style employed in each method and explain your answer. Number 6. In groups of 5, develop a servant leadership assessment instrument. Here are some takeaways. Organizational leadership is also an attitude and work ethic that empowers an individual in any role to lead from top, middle, or bottom of an organization. The leadership and management are not synonymous but are related to each other. Leadership is focused more on the vision, the future state of an organization, while management is concerned with daily operations. An effective school head is both a leader and a manager. There are various leadership styles, from autocratic, consultative, democratic, and laissez-faire or the free-rein style. The democratic leadership style is the most participative. Decisions are arrived at by consensus. Consultative style is also participative because it involves members of the organization but the leader decides. Autocratic leadership is dictatorial leadership. The members of the organization do not participate in decision-making. In the laissez-faire leadership style, the leader does not interfere with members of the organization who are left to decide for themselves. In servant leadership, it is important that the leader sees him or herself as a servant first before he or she is a leader. Transformational leadership is concerned with introducing and sustaining innovations. Situational leadership is leading the organization in a way that fits the situation, the readiness of the followers. Let's check for understanding. Direction. Write T if the statement is true and F if it is false. Underline the word or words that make the sentence false and supply the correct words to make the statement true. Number 1. Leadership is interchangeable with management because they mean the same. Number 2. A leader cannot be a manager and manager cannot be leader at the same time. Number 3. In the laissez-faire leadership style, the leader fully interferes in the decision-making of his or her followers. Number 4. In the consultative style of leadership, members of the organization arrive at a decision by way of consensus. Number 5. In the democratic style of leadership, the members of the organization are consulted in decision-making. Number 6. The autocratic leader consults his or her follower. Number 7. A transformational leader is content with status quo. Number 8. In situational leaders, if followers are unwilling, and unable to do the job, the leader must resort to delegating. Number 9. In situational leadership, if followers are willing and able to do the job, the leader must resort to telling. Number 10. Transformational leadership is focused on innovations. And number 11. Innovations, when relevant, do not need to be sustained.
So, let's reflect. What kind of a leader am I? What should I do to become an effective leader? Taking it to the net. What is meant by CQI? What is Kaizen? How are these related to transformational leadership? So let's move on to let clinchers. Select the letter of the correct answer. Number 1. Which is the essence of servant leadership? Letter A. Leading is serving. B. Leading is making your subordinates feel power over them. Letter C. Leading is ensuring that yourself is the first. And letter D. Leading is changing. Number 2. What is the message of situational leadership? A. A leader is a first servant. B. A leader must fit leadership style to the followers' level of readiness and willingness. Letter C. A leader can choose the leadership style that fits him most. And letter D. Authoritarian leadership is best because organization accomplishes much. Number 3. Who is most interested in improving the present status of an organization? A. The authoritarian leader. B. The laissez-faire type of leader. Letter C. The transformational leader. And letter D. The servant leader. What must a leader do if wants an innovation to affect substantially and positively school culture? A. Sustain innovation. Letter B. Introduce innovation one after another. Letter C. Ensure that the innovation is welcomed by all, no exception. And letter D. School head is the origin of the invention. Number 5. Is a manager also a good leader? A. Yes. B. It depends on the person. Letter C. Not necessarily. D. It depends on the type of organization.
Just like on a movie of Spider-Man, with great power comes with great responsibility. Stay safe, everyone. Always instill in mind today's knowledge that as a future educator, good leadership always does matter.
According to Lao Tzu, a leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, "We did it ourselves." Thank you and have a great day ahead, everyone.